So once again, welcome to all of you on today's session. We have with us today Kamal Agarwal, who is an emotional skills trainer and a coach, a behavioral trainer as well, and she is working on fingerprint analysis too. She has done a lot of work on fingerprint analysis, and that is what she's going to talk to us about today.
Thank you.
I welcome all of you along with Kamal. Thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Manish. Thank you for the warm welcome, and hello everyone who all have joined. It's a pleasure to be here and be talking about fingerprint analysis with all of you. Sharing the knowledge that I have is always a pleasure, as we trainers always feel that knowledge increases when we share it with people around us. And
Absolutely. So great. Thank you so much, Kamal, for this brief introduction. Do you think we should start straight away with our questions? I have a lot of questions for you, but probably I think you will have more to say today rather than me asking you too many questions.
No, I think you should be asking a lot of questions. And as for introduction, I will take another minute to briefly talk about me so that more people can connect with what I'm doing. So my name is Kamal Agarwal, as rightly introduced by Manish. I am an MBA and an ISTD certified trainer. I'm also a certified POSH trainer, which is prevention of sexual harassment at workplace, and I am a certified dermatoglyphics assessor, so which we are going to talk about today, which is fingerprint analysis. I'm also a social and emotional skills trainer and have been in the field for past 20 years, working not just with the adults but also with young children who are going to grow up and lead our country. So that's a small brief introduction about myself. And today what we're going to talk about is what fingerprint analysis is all about and how they can help us as trainers, as individuals, as coaches, whatever, in whatever capacity we would like to use it.
That's great. That's great. And we are looking forward to understanding this fingerprint analysis, because I have a question related to this also, which we have seen a lot of times some other place, not in the corporate world or as such, but yes, I will talk about it. So,
Sure.
Kamal, since we are talking about this fingerprint analysis, and it seems to be a very interesting topic. So, what is the science behind this? Can you elaborate it to your participants, please?
Yes, certainly. So when we say fingerprint analysis, it is basically the term that is used is dermatoglyphics. So dermatoglyphics is the science behind fingerprints. When I break the word dermatoglyphics into two, which is derma and glyphics. So derma is the skin and glyphics relates to the patterns within our skins. That's the science of that's the science behind fingerprint. Dermatoglyphics as a science has always been there, but we've not known it the way we know it now, or maybe we were not exposed to it earlier, that how it can impact us or how people can utilize it not just for forensic sciences but for other things also. In psychology and psychiatry, people have been using fingerprints to identify various type of abnormalities. And if you will read more about dermatoglyphics, it clearly states, and the father of dermatoglyphics is Dr. Harold Kimmins, and he clearly states in his books, in his lot of research work, that the chromosomal or genetic abnormalities are also studied with the help of fingerprints. Diseases like Down syndrome. Till about a few years back, like 2 years back, if you check out the psychology book of a 11th grader or a 12th grader, where it talks about the brain structure and the lobes in the brain, it also clearly shows a fingerprint pattern that suggests that this child could have Down's syndrome, or this person could have Down's syndrome. So Wilson's syndrome, then you have your cerebral palsy, and so many other things. This is one of the symptom or one of the identification, a tool that is used in sciences, in psychiatry, psychology, and forensics. We all know fingerprints are being used for different purposes, of course. So that's the basic science of fingerprints.
That's really interesting that that fingerprints can tell a lot about a person, right?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And that's what I said, that the science has been around, but how to use it for our benefit, that's been a tricky subject, or maybe that we were not exposed to it earlier. That's what I can
Absolutely,
say.
absolutely. In fact, I have a question related to this. Fingerprints have been, been used for a long time now for investigation purposes. And they
Absolutely.
have been considered trustworthy also. But
Right.
analysis seems to be one step ahead of just matching the fingerprints, because in investigations, what I know at least is they just
They just
match
match.
fingerprints, right?
Yes, they just match the patterns, because no two people can have similar fingerprints. But of
Correct.
recent, I don't know if you've heard, there was a report which said that the fingerprints gave the chromosomal genetic formation of the chromosomes in the person. And scientists were able to recover that as well from the fingerprints. So somewhere the fingerprints are definitely connected to the brain, to other parts of the body, or our being, if I may
Okay.
say so. It is to that extent. So if you see, if you look at the ring finger, why is it called a ring finger? Why not any other finger? Why do we choose this particular finger for the ring finger? I am asking a question to all of you. Have you ever paid attention to this, that this is the ring finger, they say, and we know all the rituals happen. This is why do we say that? Anybody who can answer that?
Yeah, please, please, please. The mic is open to everyone. Please go ahead.
I would like to answer this. This Mani here.
Definitely, please. Yes.
So I think I read it somewhere. There is a direct connection or a nerve from this finger directly to your heart.
Absolutely.
And that's the reason it's called a ring finger. And
Very true,
symbol of
very
love.
true, Mani. Very true, Mani. You are absolutely bang on point. Yes, it is connected to the heart. Having said so, this particular nerve also extends to the lobe of the brain, which is connected to emotions as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, heart and emotion go hand in hand, no?
Hand in hand, absolutely, absolutely. And that's
Thanks,
where
Mani. Thanks,
yes,
Mani.
yeah. So everything is connected, and yes, it has a deeper connection with a lot of other things also. And the more I read, the more I learn about this. I am as amazed as you all would be when I talk to you going forward in this session.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
So
So
have I answered your question, Manish, about?
yeah, because there is an added question to this. When I ask about the investigation side and the other side. So what kind of a report is generated after assessment? I mean, what kind of elements are covered in this particular report from FPA?
Okay.
FPA is
So
fingerprint analysis, friends. That's what I'm shortening.
yes, absolutely. So after the fingerprint assessment or the analysis that we say, the report that we generate is a very, very detailed report. And if I compare it with other, if you may allow me to compare it with other assessment tools, maybe, or just answering the kind of report. I will stick to the report part for now, and then we'll cover it later. So the report is almost a 35-pager report.
Wow.
But the depth of the report is, it talks about the personality style of the person. It talks about the career which will best suit that person, the hobbies that the person would be or might be involved in, the procrastination factor of that person, the IQ, EQ, AQ, and CQ of that person. CQ is creativity quotient, AQ is adversity quotient, EQ is emotional quotient, and IQ is intelligence quotient. The learning style of that person, whether he is a verbal person, auditory person, or a kinesthetic person, it talks about that. So that is the depth and detail of this report. That's everything is covered in this one report.
That is so interesting. I mean,
Absolutely.
I'm amused to hear this, that the fingerprints can tell so much about it. I knew that they can tell about a person, but that much I honestly was not aware.
Yes, it is a detailed report. It's and it is. I mean, you'll be amazed. The accuracy rate is 90% for people that I've done. They vouch for it. Yes, they have vouched for it.
Wow, that's interesting. 90% is a pretty decent hit rate, actually. Yeah.
It was the first time I did it. I said maybe it's just a chance. I did it again and again, and none of my people, none of the people that I've worked with, I've coached and handheld after this report have been dissatisfied with this report, or have come back and said that no, what you said in the report is not right about me.
Oh, that is again very interesting point, Kamal, that you are making, because this assessment tool can be used in various places, actually.
Absolutely.
Let us talk about the corporate world. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Now there are assessment tools. You also said that you wanted to compare some, but let me ask you this. There are various assessment tools available outside, right?
Absolutely.
What is that special about FPA, and how it can help the organization going forward? I mean, if they have to use this tool.
Now, I am also a psychometric assessor. I've been a trainer, and Manish, we all use different type of assessments when we train, right? You yourself,
Yeah.
being a trainer, would understand,
Right.
right? I'm not comparing them, but I'm saying that any other psychometric tool, whether it is a DISC or an MBTI or a Holland's or a 16PF or any other test, the premise that the test uses is a questionnaire-based tool, right? These are all questionnaire-based tool, and the premise is questions and the participants' answer to that question. Am I right?
Yeah, and I think when you answer, sorry to interrupt this, Kamal, but when you answer those
No
questions,
worries.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay,
Yes.
what I'm saying is that when you answer those questions in the assessment tools, the state of mind at that point in time also works, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So whenever we administer these tests, the first instruction that we give is, do not answer from what should be, but answer from what you do. Am I
Correct.
right? So whenever a person is answering these questionnaires, there is an idealistic approach, right? Or an idealistic answer, and there is a practical answer. Now, let me explain it with an example.
Yeah.
If the question is, do you lie? Or should you lie? I'm taking a very simple example.
Correct.
Now, morally and ideally, what comes to my mind? No, I should not lie. That's what I have been taught and conditioned.
Correct.
And there is, I lie frequently, never, sometimes, there are multiple choices there. Now, what happens in my mind is there is a conflict between, I know I lie sometimes,
Okay.
or I lie a lot. Maybe I'm a salesperson. I may have to, say a lot of things which maybe I have to cover up and things, whatever. So now I am in a dilemma, right? Now I am in a confused state. Should I answer that I lie? So what will I do? I will come to a certain conclusion that, okay, I may say sometimes, or I may say no, So this is a very simple question. All the questions will have these two conflicts, the idealistic answer and the realistic answer. Most of the times, what happens is when the participants or the person who's being tested is answering, he may not answer from what he's actually doing. He may answer thinking about, okay, why is this test given to me? If it is for a job profile, I will try to fit in all those norms where I'll say, I should be a good team player. So, okay, yes. So those questions will be answered accordingly. So there is a lot of scope for that person to play around with that test. And hence the accuracy of the test may not be as it should have been. Right? So therefore I say, when it comes to fingerprints, they are what they are. Nobody can fudge them. Nobody can change them. Nobody can do anything about it. So they have to give me it as it is. So the report that comes out is more closer to home, more closer to the reality. That's what the difference is between the two.
Okay. So in an organization point, from an organization point of view, how and where the HR people, those who are into the business of recruiting employees and people for their organization, how can they use it?
So yes, so we give them a complete, when we say the report, it's not just the report, how the report is read to you is also essential. So when we are reading, we weave into every aspect of it. Verbal person, and this person is also a dominating personality, has low IQ, low EQ, high AQ. There is a connotation to it. Verbal person, dominating authority, high EQ. This person can also be empathetic in nature, right? So his dominance will be covered up there. So then we can tell what role can be suitable for that particular person. A very submissive person with a high verbal or with a good linguistic can again be a different. Now, so there are a lot of permutation and combinations. So how the HR can use this report is in actually identifying people for different roles, in actually promoting people, in competency assessments, in assessment centers. All these places is where this report will come in handy. And when you sit down and ask questions, and when the person himself is saying, yes, I do this, I have a tendency of doing this, you know, he will himself say, yes, this role suits more for me and this does not suit me. Instead of after a performance appraisal or after a promotion, people come and challenge, I have been doing so much and you know, you've not promoted me, or why haven't I been promoted? This report is clear. So these are the things that we figured out. Do you think this is what you've been doing? So when we talk to that person, it's generally the person talking, and that's the essence of coaching also. So all the coaches can use this tool to actually identify what's going wrong, because generally when we are coaching, people are either dissatisfied with the current scenario, they're not happy with their job, they want a lateral movement. Why is that? Because the job is not in line with what they are and who they are. So that is where we can actually use this report.
Perfect. So, okay, one more question related. I'm taking a cue from your answer, Kamal. Why are the organizations still not using this? What is the reason behind it? I mean, possible reason behind this.
I will. So the possible reason is, earlier it was a tedious task to take reports. Not everybody is certified to actually understand the fingerprints. And also when it initially started, not many people were trained properly to actually read the report nicely. So when I actually got certified, I was trying to read a lot of reviews, and all the reviews that talked not so good or negatively about this report, I tried and reached those people, the ones that I could. And the revert or the reply that I got was, we got the report, but we did not got the understanding of the report, what this report is. Now if I go for a blood test and the doctor gives me the test and says, go home, you know, or everything is all right, I will not be satisfied. I will question that. You tell me what is there, you know, what did you interpret from this report? And therefore for that they send you to the doctor. Now we've given you the report, you go to the doctor. Now in this case, in the fingerprint analysis case, what happened was, people joined the fraternity, as happens in a lot of other scenarios also, but they were not well equipped to actually talk about the report and satisfy the person, because you have to link everything. Only a person who understands what is DISC, what is VAC, what is EQ, IQ, how are they correlated, what is the interpretation, only that person will be able to actually interpret and read the report to you. Suppose you get a report done and I give you a very vague understanding, you will not be satisfied, right? That
Absolutely.
is one part of it. The second part of it is it's not easy to take fingerprints, send the report, then get back the report. So therefore, psychometrics came in handy. These are the only two things. And of course, the awareness part of this was also missing.
Absolutely. I
Not
think
many people.
awareness.
Yes.
I would take this as as one of the reasons. I think the possible reasons that the
Yes.
awareness is not there. I mean, the tool
Correct.
probably would have been there for a long time now, but it is
Yes.
becoming popular or being known of maybe very recently, I guess.
Very recently, yes.
And I
And
think it is.
also,
Yeah.
sorry. So earlier, the only way of getting fingerprints was a person is there, physically present. He
Hmm.
takes the psychometrics, and it's not just one print, Manish. We need 30 prints of a person. So yes. So
30
three prints for,
fingerprints.
yes. So 3 prints for each finger. And then when you have to see whether it is being taken in the right way, because if all the aspects that I need to see are not there, then the fingerprint is no use to me. All right. So a lot of organizations that I approached, when I said that, this is what, they were very happy to see that, oh, this is a very extensive report and everything. But then they said, if you take the report, if you take the fingerprints today, you will get me the report in about 10-12 days, right? Or in a week's time, if I hurry up and put people to it also. So that is one, they want that, in 2 days training, do the report, give me the results and come out with it.
Yeah.
Now there is another way of doing it. Because of this COVID thing has been a blessing in disguise for a few of us. And for this industry, it truly has been. Why? Because now everything has been done online. Now we can take your fingerprints online and we can then, so here now it will be a next level where corporates can actually say that, these are the 15 people or 20 people. We are going to send you the fingerprints. And when you come for the training, you come with the reports to us. And then you do a reading for one-on-one. So that's how it can work now.
Oh, okay. So that is very time saving actually now.
Absolutely.
And people, because
Absolutely.
HR, as far as I know, HR is always on a running end. They are
Absolutely.
short of
Absolutely.
people all the time, I guess.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And
Yes.
whenever they have to recruit someone, the time is very less, and they can't take
Absolutely.
so much of time to decide and all that, right?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
So that is
Absolutely.
interesting. So online, when you said online, so if I have to give you my fingerprints right away, Kamal, what is the process like? I mean, what is the process involved?
So there are 2 ways, Manish, here. Now the first way is a powder thing. So you take a little bit of talcum powder in your hand. You rub your fingertip, the top part where you see this line
Yeah.
ends till about here. You dip your finger in the talcum powder. You rub it nicely, and then you rub off the excess, and then you click a photo of this.
Okay.
And then you write the number of fingerprints. So if this is my right hand, I call it R1, R2, R3, R4, R5. So you write R2, and similarly, you send me 10 prints. All right.
Oh.
And basis that, then I generate a report. Now we also have a mobile app that you can download and get your fingerprints is connected to me. I will give you a link, and those fingerprints will directly come to me.
Oh, that is again. Wow.
Yes.
There is so much of happening in the tech world as well.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
To accommodate the other parts of the industry also, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So this is one version. If the mobile app does not work for you or something, then you can use this talcum powder
Right.
approach. And I've done almost 50 reports with this from various parts of the country. All right, and now the mobile app is also in picture and will be launched very soon. So we'll have that as well.
Oh, the application is yet to be launched.
Yet to be launched, yes.
Okay,
Yet
okay.
to be launched, yes.
No, but I think
It
that
is
is
next week. It's happening next week only.
next week. Wonderful,
Yes, yes,
wonderful,
yes.
wonderful. I was actually thinking that, I don't think it will take too much of time to release this application.
Yes,
And
yes,
you said next week, it is anytime soon now.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, now they've also created this our industry, the dermatoglyphics neuroscientific assessment industry. They've created a center for research also, and they are working on it. I will give you all the details very soon once it's up and running, so you can also check there.
Yeah,
They're doing
sure,
good.
absolutely. I think that would be great. I think it will be helpful to not only to the trainers and coaches, to the organizations and
Absolutely.
individuals as well.
Yes,
So
yes.
COVID has, I think, brought in, when you go up to social media and find out what COVID has done to people, I think they have come out with major things, major talents actually, which they were probably never knew of.
Yes, definitely. It has given us a new perspective,
Correct. It has given us a new perspective. And if they go and, if they are trying on social media, if they are trying 5 different things, they can actually go in for this assessment and, stick on to one or maybe zero on to one.
Absolutely.
Yes, that can help.
Yes,
It's a lot of
definitely.
benefit.
Kamal, sorry.
Yeah,
Can I ask
no
a question?
Yeah, definitely.
Please,
That's
Aman, yes.
Manish, sorry to intrude.
No, please.
Pardon my ignorance. It's basically when we do potential assessment. Okay, for example, let's say I have a person who is in
Right.
senior manager grade.
Absolutely.
I'm testing some people who are at the manager grade. And the competency framework is finalized. That means what is the competencies required for a manager and what are the competencies required for senior manager.
Definitely.
So when I do a potential assessment, I'll be testing the manager on the senior manager competencies. Right? So for example, let's say the senior manager has a competency of what is called strategic thinking. One example. The other one is what is called team management.
Right.
I will decide the bars, let's say level 1 and level 2 or level 3, whatever it is.
Correct.
Now, when I use your tool, like fingerprint analysis, what I want to understand is, once I give the fingerprints and once you generate the report, it's going to be static, or does it change over a period of time? Because
It does not. It does not change over a period of time. But having said so, fingerprints are what they are. They never change for the lifetime, all right? So the report, if you get it when you are 2 years old or if you get it when you are 60 years old, it's going to remain same, all right? Now, what I can help you with here is, if this person is put in a situation, how much is his capability to grasp and learn and to grow?
Okay.
You with me?
yeah, please continue.
So when you are saying level 1, level 2, level 3, strategic ability, so what I can through that report, what we can decipher is if this person is put in such role, and if he is exposed to the right skill set, does he have the ability to pick it up and move up, or he does not have it, or he may not be able to do it?
Okay, that means we are talking about the general ability of his strategic thinking, whether does it have it or not.
No. He may have the general ability. Now you will have different levels of it, all right? Now, with this report, I will know that as per his brain ability, can he move to a level 5 from a level 1 and how quickly?
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah, got it. The other question, sorry to ask so many questions. The other question is, are we saying that all the skills are biologically deterministic, or can they be changing?
So I here my answer has always been this: there are certain traits which are biologically determined, innate, and then there are people who can build on those, and there are people who are unable to do so.
Okay.
All right. So with this report, I can even tell you that this person is going to be really, really stubborn when it comes to learning. He's not a person open to learning. So you're going to face a lot of challenges when you're holding this person. He might have problems with the bosses because he is not open to learning. So anybody telling him something will be a deterrent for him. So what can be the way out? You understand?
Yeah. So for example, in the same question, if I have to understand the strategic thinking, whether the person has improved or not, can we determine that? Because we told that we will actually check the ability, whether he can go to that level or not.
No, with this report, I can only tell you that this person can do it. But if you ask me through this report, can you tell me now if he was at X, has he reached Y?
Yeah.
No, that can happen through a different assessment tool, maybe, which talks about that particular trait, not through this. This will give you a basic understanding of the framework of this person.
Okay. And it also can help me to assess the values also.
Absolutely, 100%. I can tell you the level of integrity that person can have. In fact, recently I did it for somebody and I said, you should actually be in cybersecurity because the level of integrity that you have is amazing, stupendous. So you should be a person who should be actually taking care of the important aspects of the country. So yes, it does help you understand the
And what is
value
the PI?
system.
What is the predictive index score?
See, there are no PIs to this report and there are no modalities attached to it, but it is yet we are still working on it. Maybe very soon we'll come out with those aspects as well.
Understood. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Amar. Thank you. Those were wonderful questions,
Yes.
and I think your questions have brought in a new perspective to the discussion. Also, it is really good that when you are engaging. Thank you so much. Anyone else wants to have a question before I ask Kamal another question of mine? Anyone else?
Or maybe in the end we'll take 10 minutes, Manish, and do a quick
Yeah,
question.
sure.
Yeah.
So in fact, since we started on this question, I think it was good to carry forward on this. But anyways,
Absolutely.
nevertheless,
This is a very relevant question. Thanks, Amar, for that. And
Yeah.
I hope I've answered your question well.
Yeah. So whosoever wants to have a question, whosoever wants to ask the question, please raise your hand and I'll direct you to Kamal. Kamal, now we decided on this topic as fingerprints, your brain map.
Absolutely.
Okay. And what is this brain map all about? What is the connect really?
So see, we all know, I'm sure we all know that our brain is divided into two parts, left brain, right brain, and we have various lobes within the brain, all right? Now, there was a scientific research on the basis of a child that was born without brain in the US, and the disease was called Ankyphilis. Okay, so Ankyphilis is a disease where the child was born brainless with a flat head, and it was observed that the child did not have fingerprints also.
Oh.
And that's how the doctors and researchers started questioning or trying to find out what is the correlation between the brain and these fingerprints. Earlier, it was believed that it is due to the fist formation of the child in the womb that the fingerprints are formed. All right. However, after this child and the disease in Ankyphilis, it was identified that no, there is some other correlation between the brain and the fingerprints. So researchers and scientists came to a conclusion that it is in the 13th week of pregnancy, when the child is in the womb of the mother, is when the brain development of the child starts happening.
Right.
The neurons starts forming in the brain in the 13th week of the pregnancy. And that is precisely when the fingerprints also start forming in the child.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, the higher the neuron density, the higher is the number of the fingerprints or the density of the fingerprints.
Okay.
All right. Therefore, it was concluded that the fingerprints are directly related to the brain of the person. Now, brain has 4 lobes for the medical purposes, but for psychological purposes, we use 5 lobes. We generally it is the frontal lobe, the occipital lobe, the kinesthetic lobe, and the auditory lobe. Now, otherwise, we use a prefrontal lobe as well for psychological purposes also, which is the implementation planning lobe that we talk about of the brain. All right. Now, each lobe has 2 parts to it, and our body is inversely related. Like my left part of the brain controls my right part, and the right part of my brain controls my left part. All right. So it was identified that each fingerprint is pertaining to one lobe of the brain. and what fingerprint is there on that particular finger will define the strength of that lobe.
Okay.
All right. So suppose now if I say I have divided each lobe into different parts, I will show you a report and I will explain in that report that how it works. So suppose if my kinesthetic lobe, which is my kinesthetic part of the brain, which controls my motor movements, all right, that is the kinesthetic part of my brain. And in that there are two parts, the fine motor skills and the gross motor skills. Fine motor skills actually governs the finer things that you do, you know. So sewing, knitting, art and craft, surgery, these are the finer things that we do with our hands, writing, sculpting, all right. So if somebody's fine motor skills are higher, we say that this person can become a very good surgeon, this person can do very good knitting, this person, so we associate it like that. Now if the fine motor skills of that person are weak, you know, as per the assessment of the report, that child will have, or that person will have a poor handwriting, that person will have stomach ailments because his chewing habits will not be right to the extent you can actually identify and assess. And we've had cases where I've asked people that you had braces. Have you ever had braces? And they said yes, because your fine motor skills are low, you will not chew properly, your teeth formation will also not be proper. All right. So these are a few things. Now, on the contrary, the other part is your gross motor skills. If the gross motor skills are stronger, is a strength area in that report, that means this person can be a good sports person. His athletic skills will be very good. And, you know, so then we accordingly can tell you that, you know, this person will be more energetic, more enthusiastic about doing things. This person will be a go-getter. He will not procrastinate things. On the other hand, if the gross motor skills are low, this person will be lethargic, lazy, will not be upcoming, not be very proactive in his approach, and he will be a procrastinator by nature. So this is the level of then there is the emotional lobe that we call it, or the musical lobe we call it, you know. Now here there are again two parts to it, the visual part and the emotional part, or the linguistic part. Now in the linguistic part, if the linguistic zone is high, this person will be a very, very good orator, this person will be a very, very good writer, this person will be excellent with words, you know. His administrative skills will be very good because he'll be pleasant with his tone, his body language, all those things, you know. So on the contrary, if the linguistics are low, less empathy, this person will not show empathy, he will be crude, he will be candid, he will be outspoken, you know. So these things, how we judge or how we interpret the report, I would not say how we interpret, judge is the wrong word, how we interpret the report, all right. So then the other part is the visual part of it, visual spatial and visual imagination. There are two parts to it again also. So these are various things. I can go on and on, Manish, with this. There are so many aspects to it.
I know. It is. I mean, I was actually glued to what you were saying. I was hearing it all and trying to figure out. You know, there was one thought also, Kamal, which I would like to share with everyone. I don't know how many people here would have had that kind of an experience, or maybe an instance that would have happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I was young. Okay. I don't know who told me, but somewhere someone told me that there is a formation of circles or lines on the fingerprints, on the fingers,
Absolutely.
the tip of the finger. And if you have circles on more circles on, let's say about 8 fingers, you're going to be the luckiest person on this earth, kind of.
Yes.
How true is that?
That's actually true. I'll tell you how. The circles are called whorls basically in the fingerprint language, all right? And whorls were the most common predominant fingerprints of the, I would say, the clan of Rajas and Maharajas.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so therefore they started correlating, and in earlier times, even our Rig Vedas say this, that in earlier times, it was fingerprints were used to identify. So they say that Pandavas, you know, each Pandava was given a different knowledge. So Bhim was the, you know, Gadadhari, and Dhanush was Arjun. It was basis their fingerprints, because focus, you know, with this you need more focus.
Correct.
But with Gada, Bhim, you need more gross motor skills, power, strength, right?
Right.
So it says that, you know, fingerprints, Dronacharya, Guru Dronacharya used to check the fingerprints of his disciples and then decide that which field should I put this person in.
That's
To
interesting.
that extent.
So it goes back to that time actually.
Way back. And when you read about the different type of fingerprints, primarily there are 4: whorls, loops, arches, and composites. And within these there are multiple, you know, so there are about 25 to 30 odd fingerprints that you need to understand and know about. However, these are four primary types. And there are then subsets and within whorls there are different, and within arches there are different. So that's how it is. So whorls is the round one, and that is why, having said so, these were people also very dominating and stuck up. I mean, these are also people who would not, because to be a Raja at that time, you need to be very, you know, firm in your thought processes, right? So that's why this kept on going. And it's a beautiful science if you start reading about it, Manish. I mean, there is so much to learn into it. I mean, it's beautiful.
No, I think it was maza aa gaya sun ke, Kamal. It was seriously, you know, I would like to read more about this science.
You should.
To understand all this. Absolutely. Great. So you spoke about sharing some of the reports. Is it possible for you to share a recent study that you did?
I can show it to you. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, please. If you're not allowed, just let me know. I'll do that.
I am not allowed. Disabled.
Can you?
Let me try again. Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So this is, can you all see my screen?
Yep, I can.
You can? All right. Now, if you see, I have I'm not showing you the first few pages because those are personal information and which I cannot share with all of you.
Sure,
here,
please.
right? So this is where I start. So this is a basic career summary. So what kind of careers would be good for this person? What type of, whether this person should be an art person, a commerce person, or a mathematics person. And then the stream-wise understanding, what kind of, I'm sorry, I'll use this. I think, yeah, this is a better thing. So what are the main ideas, whether this person should go into sports, design, education, arts, sciences, and stuff like that. Now, basis this, we can do a match as to when a person comes to me as an HR also, is he aligned with the field that he should be in? Because if he is not aligned, the level of dissatisfaction with his job may be higher. You know, it may not be because of the organizational discontent. It could be because of a personal discontent as well. So that's how we align this when we are coaching adults and corporate people here, right? Then comes the profession. Now, work style preference. This is also a very beautiful understanding of that person. And Amar, this is what I was talking about. We can have a fair understanding as to how or what this person is capable of, right? So we talk about development or the ability to manage and develop himself, the ability of strategization and decision making, the ability of handling operations, implementation, and you know, things like that. Communication, how good and apt would this person be with communication, and adaptation, how quickly will this person adapt to newer situations, right? So this is one aspect of it. Then it's career type. What kind of career in terms of whether he is an academic person or he is a technical person or a managerial person. So there is a lot to it. Within this one page, I can spend about 40 minutes explaining you where you are and what you are, you know, right? Although I cannot talk about it at length here, but this one page can give me a lot of understanding about the person that I am talking to, right? Then the professional quadrant, this talks about what kind of a person are you? Are you a go-getter? Are you somebody who needs a push? Or are you somebody who would work in a SOP pattern? Or are you somebody who can reinvent the wheel? Or are you somebody, so accordingly, are you an employee? And when I say employee is self-employed, I'm not meaning when I say employee, I mean somebody who works in a set pattern, who's capable of working with a given set of process in place, right? When I say self-employed, I mean a person who is self-motivated, who is a go-getter, who wants to do things himself, who wants to take ownership of things, right? And when I say an investor, I say this person will be very good with finances. So if you're trying to hire a CFO or somebody in your finance department and he has got a investor capability, I would say please go ahead and do it. And there are so many other factors which I will also take into consideration, definitely. But this is a understanding and a business owner, right? So like, for example, if somebody has a tendency to become a business owner, so he is somebody who can understand things end to end. He is somebody who is also a person who would work more, or who would be more effective in an individual contributor role, rather than putting him in a team or putting him under. If you have a provision of an individual contributor role, you should put this person into that, because he'll be more self-motivated and he'll do more with that, right? Then comes your skill sets. How these are basic things. How self-smart are you? When I say self-smart, this is we talk about the intrapersonal and the interpersonal part of that person. Whether he is more intra-hire or an inter-hire. If he is intra-hire, he'll be more he would understand himself more than understanding the other person, right? And so on and so forth. People smart, body smart, things like that. So there's a connotation to everything. When I say imagination and 3D, this is a person. Now, suppose if I'm looking at an interior designer and a person who's looking for any architecture or interior designing. Now, if his imagination in 3D is higher, I would say he is going to be he's going to top the chart, because he is a person who has the ability to think in vacuum. Right. So imagination 3D is one ability. So when I talk about the marks of a person, so to say, I am talking about that because we also look at, while hiring, we look at which college, where did you go, which degree do you get, right? So when we talk about those things, only two of these are taken care of, the number smart and the imagination part of it. Because your memory, if your imagination 3D is not your strength or is a lower area, then that means you are not able to memorize things quickly, So that's how it works. So these are the only two parts that are actually there when we talk about the academics of a person. The rest of the things, 9 or 8 things are missing. We don't know where that person is, but this report can give you a clear identification about all those aspects of that person.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Then this talks about the personality style. Here, this is a basis disc and the bird style. It's a mixture of both. If you've heard about the bird style assessment of personality, so that is here. They call it dominant personality, or even in disc we call it a dominant personality. Then your sight, recite, write is your visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. What sort of a person are you more? Now here also, when we talk about a job, now if you need to see what type of job are you putting a person into. Suppose there is a kinesthetic person, or the person whose kinesthetic is high, or he is a kinesthetic learner, his style of learning is kinesthetic. And if you put this person into a desk job, this person will never be satisfied, because his body needs mobility to function. He needs to get up every now and then, he needs to interact every now and then. So we need to see these things also. So this reports gives you an overview to that as well.
Right.
Then I was talking about the quotients, the IQ, EQ, AQ, and CQ. These are the ones that are mentioned here. So we talk about all this and we kind of give you an understanding of which one is where and how, right? Then this is your left brain, right brain. We've given a brief overview of if a person is a left brain centric person, what are the traits that you would see. If a person is a right brain centric person, what are the traits that person would have. So this is the balance that this shows whether this person is left brain. So here, if you can see, this is a left brain centric person, completely a more logical, fact-based person. That's just a brief part of being a left brain person. Now this talks about the lobes. So if you see, the lobes are divided into action, thinking, kinesthetic, auditory, and visual.
Right.
Right? And these two parts are left and right brain.
Correct.
Right? And the left and right brain are further divided into two parts, and they have a function each as well. So this is how we tell you that, this is intrapersonal, interpersonal. This is, your logical and visual 3D or imagination, as we call it. Then this is your fine motor and gross motor. Then your linguistic and musical intelligence, and then your naturalistic and visual spatial. So when I say naturalistic, so somewhere a lot of people, if you've heard these days, are wine connoisseurs, tea connoisseurs, food connoisseurs.
Right.
So a person with a high naturalistic ability will have an inborn ability to smell food and tell you the ingredients of that food. That's a basic test.
Correct. Yes.
There are some people who will just smell it and say, no, it's not good. There's some people who smell it and say, this is yummy. You've put lasan in this, or you put that long and this and this. And they'll exactly give you the ingredients of that thing. These are people with a very high naturalistic ability.
Kamal, I can actually do this, I can actually do this because by just smelling the food, I can tell whether this food is good or not, and I can identify some of the ingredients, may not be all, but
Absolutely.
yes, I can do that. Yeah.
So that is why you are a food photographer also, no? You are into food. Are you a good chef as well? I mean, you cook.
I tried this COVID. Yes, I did that, and I have been making wonderful dishes. I invite all of you to have some taste of my dishes also, please.
You should do definitely a meetup of all the Trainer Network people. And we should all be testing your food. So yes, so that's how it is. So this is the level of depth of this report is what I'm trying to explain to you.
No, correct. I think it is a very, very detailed report, Kamal, and I believe that if organizations start using this tool as the mode of assessment for the employees, the incoming employees as well as the existing employees, they'll be able to use their strengths in a better way.
Absolutely. So I also suggest to organizations that when we are talking about competency assessments and we talk about training programs, what are we trying to do? We are trying to elevate individuals to the next level, right? If we do it with the help of this report, we will precisely know which role this person can be suitable for and which are the typical training programs that we should have for this person.
Right.
So that is also one thing. Another thing is, apart from the job profile that this person is in, there are a lot of voluntary things that are happening in the organization. A lot of people are shy, but with the help of this report, if we do a one-on-one counseling and coaching with this person will be a person who will be volunteering for the right things. Say, suppose I am a behavioral trainer, you are a behavioral trainer, but we have a good high naturalistic ability. So there's anything related to food, pertaining to food. If you ask this person to organize something, he will organize it so well and with so much of zeal in himself, and he'll be happy doing that, and he will get a sense of self-fulfillment with it, which will impact his work also.
Right,
he will
absolutely.
perform very well in his job as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
So that's how everything is correlated. It is on us how we want to, pick things and kind of use it with the right approach.
Correct. Because organizations will not only save time, the person who's doing that job or who's assigned that job will be satisfied with his job. He'll work, he will look forward to coming to the office every day, working with enthusiasm, and the productivity of his own productivity as well as the performance of the organization increases.
Absolutely.
What does the organization have to lose in this? Nothing, I guess.
Nothing. And we always, all the time, talk about intrinsic motivation,
Right. Yeah.
intrinsic motivation. Where does that intrinsic motivation come from?
Yeah.
If you have this, you know how I can intrinsically motivate this particular person. You have a tool with you. Go ahead, use it, do it.
Oh, I think this is wonderful, and this is probably a late discovery, but I'm sure it is going to make the others run for their money, I guess.
So I am not going to name people here, but one of the person I was talking to, he was the CEO of the organization, and he was very, as everybody is apprehensive. Are you serious? Can this work? Fingerprints, it's more like astrology. That's what I keep hearing most of the time.
Correct.
I said, no, this is nothing close to astrology. This is a science in itself. I am not questioning astrology is a different science, but this is not what astrology is. So he said, okay, you do my test, Kamal, and let me see. If I feel the test is good, you are in. I mean, like, I said, okay, fair enough. I had that conviction in the test. I know that if this test is done on a person, so this person is somebody who is into computer sciences, who did technology and stuff. And when I did his assessment, I saw that this person's interest lied in art curation and stuff like that. And I said, why are you into such a thing? I mean, are you happy doing what you're doing? And he said, why do you ask? I said, because I see that you are an art loving person. You thrive on art. And he said, Kamal, you have to come to my house tomorrow for dinner. I said, why? His house was full of marvelous art pieces.
Oh my God.
Yes. And he said, nobody till date has been able to tell me that. Because he did his computer sciences from the most prestigious institute.
Right.
So when you go, when you've done so well, nobody can question, because they say कि IIT से किया है तो अच्छा ही होगा ना, फिर तो इसका इंटरेस्ट ही रहा होगा, है ना? तो अगर IIT से आपने कंप्यूटर साइंस कर ली और अगर आपको कोई आके चैलेंज कर रहा है कि क्यों किया आपने, you know, so, and that's one aspect of it. Then there were a lot of things within the personality, but that I'm saying that's what, and he himself said, Kamal, this test is not 90% accurate, this is 98% accurate.
So that's very good, actually. That's a good appreciation that he felt that, you know, the test is working, you know. So the report that you shared, Kamal, just saw this report, without telling the name, of course, of the person, how close that person is to this report?
As I said, Manish, all the people that I've shared the report with have always believed that it is 90 to 95% close to what the report is saying. I mean, the accuracy of that report.
Wow, amazing. Okay. So can you just switch off your screen? Is it over now on this report?
Yeah, there are a lot of aspects to it. Then, you know, how people seem. So there are details of this, traits, and then how
and this is the 35-page report that you were talking about.
Yes,
right?
yes. This is complete detailed report. Then we have individual indicators also, the detailed SPF indicators also. So I am saying this report is a complete compilation of all the other reports that you may have done ever.
Interesting. Let me ask the participants, you know, how they feel about this report. You can just go on. Please, anyone.
Yeah, I mean, thanks to you, Manish, first of all, for bringing in Kamal here and having such an amazing session. Wow, what a report. I mean, it's like lots of things. So, Kamal, quickly, I would want to ask two questions. I had just written it quickly. You can answer.
Absolutely.
One, where do we learn? How do we learn about this? And it's amazing. Second thing is, these days, we see that like in offices and all, people used to initially have this thumb impression and the attendance, everything used to be through fingerprints, which used to mark, everything used to be captured. Now,
Yes.
slowly that is getting shifted. I heard even to biometrics. Then people use your iris scanners and all those things.
Yes.
So why do you think is that reason is it shifting? Though despite fingerprints being unique and nobody can duplicate it and all those things, why the technology is moving towards that? These are my two questions.
This is what my son is doing his second year engineering from Manipal in computer sciences, and he told me, and that's why I am just connecting the two things together. He said, Mama, I said, why are you out of hostel so late? They need to punch their thumb at 9:30, 10, and they have to be in the hostel. And he was not in the, and I said, why are you not in the hostel? आपका absent लग जाएगा वहाँ पे because आपका तो biometric हुआ नहीं होगा. Mama, don't worry. Cellophane लिया, the cellophane, the, what do you call, cling wrap? Cling wrap लिया, उसको हम ऐसे finger पे लगा लेते हैं मम्मा जोर से, and then my friend takes that and he puts it there and it's done.
And I am in. So now you know money.
I'm in and I'm out. So now that's money. That's the reason why it is going to iris, because nobody has started. I mean, there's no other solution to it. That's my understanding of it.
I get it. Yeah, that could be the reason.
That could be one reason. Yes.
Yeah. And the first one, if you have to learn more about this.
Yes. So if you to learn more, I am there.
Okay. We'll reach out to you.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Kamal.
That's wonderful.
So
Thank
we'll
you,
start with first doing a report for you. Once you're convicted and you see that, the report is going right and it works for me, we'll move to the next level. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mani. Thanks.
Thank you, Mani.
Anyone else who wants to ask a question?
Should I?
Yeah, please.
Yes, Manish.
Yes.
I have a question.
Who's Aprajita?
Aprajita, okay.
Yes, Aprajita.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, Kamal.
Hi,
Ma'am.
Aprajita.
Very
How are
nice
you?
to.
You can call me
It was a
Kamal.
very interesting 1 hour. Yeah.
Thank you.
So my question is, like, how did you get interest into this field? Like, what were you doing, and then how did you discover this?
I will tell you how I will.
And like, how did you? Yeah.
I will tell you, it is a very interesting journey. So I was doing a campus to corporate session with Maruti. Okay. And these were all IGTs. They were hired from various campuses, Delhi School of Engineering, this, that, everywhere, it was a good group of, and Maruti does a very, very good campus to corporate session. It goes on till about 3 months. It's a very, very well, thoroughly prepared. So during that session, I did a personality profiling for these people, right? And in that personality profiling, I was telling people, okay, you're so-and-so personality. This is how you should work. This is how you should be doing. This is what you should be doing. A few participants, they came to me and they said, Kamal, what you're telling this to us now. Today we are engineers. She's mechanical, I'm computer. This is that, right? What if somebody would have told it to us earlier? What if we've known this earlier? So then we would have gone in the right direction and we would have become what you are telling us. And that hit me really hard, actually. And there is when I started looking for a tool which can actually help people to understand themselves early on. Psychometric does not work at a young age, right? It works for you and me, people 20 years and above, maybe, right? So I started finding out what could be, there should be something. And then is when I came across this. I started reading about it. I saw reviews, not very good reviews. I contacted those people, that why are you saying it's not right? Because when you're trying to get into something, you want to know everything about that, right? So then they said that, nobody explained the report. We didn't understand the report. So I realized that it's not, the test is not wrong. The customer to client, this thing is wrong. The report assessment is not being done right. And then I got into it, and this is how it has been. So this report this assessment is a tool which can be used from a 2-year-old child till about 70 years, 80, any age group. This is not age limited. That is why. That's what actually made me get into this. And then once I got into it,
interesting.
it was so interesting, Aparajita, that, I could not get away from it. I read on and on. I did n number of training programs. I can tell you specifics
You want
about
to
all.
learn something.
Yes, I can tell you about all fingers. In my industry also, there are only 10 people who can talk so in depth about this and who are as passionate as me, because others will, somebody tells them it's not good and they will say, ha, hoga. But we always say it is good. You need to know how to use it. That's the point.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I think what you
Very
mentioned.
nice. Thank
Sorry,
you so much.
Aparajita.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
sorry. Thank you, Aparajita, first of all, and sorry to interrupt you also, because I have one question here. What you said, not a question, but an observation, that,
Sure,
when you
Manish.
said that you looked at the reviews and they were not good at all.
Yes.
So the interpretation of the report, and you found that the tool was good, but the interpretation was wrong, or maybe
Absolutely.
not correct, not up to the
Right.
right. So
Yeah.
interpretation makes, I mean, it is all interpretation dependent, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And the person has to be really experienced to understand and communicate the same zeal,
So, absolutely.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and each part of the report is interconnected. So
Yeah.
if I pick up that report, somebody comes to me and they pay me good amount, and I only give them as much information that this is your personality style. वो बोलेंगे, I can go online and figure out what my personality style is, na? It's not a big thing for them, So you have to give them that complete holistic picture which the report gives you. That is when they will realize that, yes, right, how my linguistic ability attached with my personality, with my EQ, IQ levels, what kind of person is it giving now?
Interesting.
And what this person can do.
Right, right, absolutely. Samida is there. Samida, you please unmute yourself and ask.
Yes, Samita. Hi, Samita.
Yeah, hi, Kamal. Hi, Samita here.
Yes, Samita.
Today is the day for Saraswati Puja, right?
Oh, yes.
So
Saraswati Puja.
I am a psychologist, and I was not very listening to you from initial time. But just as you were talking to Prajita for some time, I had a question. Typically being a psychologist, because we feel that the change comes internally and externally, and personality is not static.
Correct.
So it is everything shaping you up, and everything depends on what's the time and what you want. Yes. So whatever report you are saying, so are you people prepared for if something changes up, if the person gets stuck up somewhere, then what? The solutions also? I mean to say that.
Yes, with this report, it's a static report, as I said, because fingerprints don't change, right,
that's
Samita?
what I was saying. Yeah.
And you are right. Personality may change, but to what level? To what level? And when we do this test, and when the interpretations come, even you being a psychologist, you would know how we read reports and do things. You can read and see how much could be that. So the fingerprint, which fingerprint are predominant in that person? So if there are certain fingerprints where I will say that, suppose I'll take
No,
my...
sorry, I'm interrupting. I know that is there. I wanted to know if there are some changes. Do you people have, besides reports, and report for solutions also, for that also? Tools for solutions also?
So that's what I was answering,
Okay.
Samina, that for all the things that we can read in the report, we will give you solutions as well. But beyond the report, over a period of time, I will not be able to, I will not be responsible there, right? I mean, if you come back to me and you ask me, that there have been people 2 years back, they did a report, and then today they come and call me, this is what is happening, Kamal, can you correlate or can you help me with this? We do help. We do help. We can see and we can say that, this is why it happened. And then if they are that, and this is what you can do. But if somebody does not come back to me, then I may not be. But if you ask me, when I do a report, and if I see these are the weak areas, we definitely talk about tools and solutions to those as well.
Okay, so you're saying it's more about causation than impact. Means there is an effect from causation to impact, but not very much dynamic every time. They have to come back and report to you.
Absolutely. That is.
I would really, thank you, Kamal. I would really love to coordinate and know more about it. Thank you so much.
Definitely.
Thank you, Samita.
Definitely love to talk
Thank you
to
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Samita.
Thank you. Bye.
Is there anyone else who wants to ask a question before we wrap up? It was an interesting conversation today.
Very interesting. Yeah. And thank you so much, all of you all, for connecting. It's been very interactive as well. I'm so happy to.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is there anyone who wants to? Hi, Mani. Yeah, tell me.
The way to connect with Kamal, I think she was saying that earlier.
Yes.
She's coming to that.
Yes, I'm coming to that. My name is Kamal Agarwal, you all know. My email ID is kamal2407@yahoo.com. And my mobile number is 9811193108. Alternatively, Manish is there. If you know Manish, he has all my details. He can help you with that as well.
Can you again repeat your mobile number?
Yes, 9811193108.
Great.
Thank you.
Kamal ma'am, if you will have a Facebook page or Insta page, are you active on that?
Yes, I do have a Facebook page by the name of The Marks India. Or if you search me up, you will. I'll share that. I think I will share my Facebook link with Manish, and then Manish can, I think, circulate it to all of you.
Yeah,
Also, Manish had asked me to, look at some special offers for TNW people and specifically for this group. So when I do this report, I generally charge 10,000 rupees per report, which includes reading back the report and the entire counseling for the report. However, for this session, specifically, there is a power glitch in my house, so please bear with this dark thing. All right. So just for this group of people who all have joined, there is a special offer. This report will be available to you at 4,000. I'm giving you a 60% discount, and you can all thank Manish for that.
That's so generous of you. Thank you so much, Kamal.
You all can get it done for just 4,000 rupees individual, just your report, nobody else's.
Perfect. So thank you so much, Kamal. So anyone who wants to get this assessment. Sorry, anyone say?
Somebody's raised a hand. Nothing. Sorry.
Aparajita was applauding this, I guess.
Achha, okay, all right.
Thank you, Aparajita.
Thank you so much.
So anyone who wants to get this assessment done for yourself, your organization, your employees, or whatever, do let me know. Okay. Kamal has also given you her number and details. So either of us can be contacted for this, and you get this wonderful offer that Kamal has just dropped in.
This is only for the participants of this.
Only for the participants. Yes. Yeah. Sure. That's okay. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I would really appreciate if you could send a small feedback about the session, all of you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I will circulate the feedback form, Kamal, and they will probably do that. Okay. Before we wrap up this session, a special announcement that I want to make is this month is ending. The Tuesday is on 23rd of February, which is the last Tuesday of this month. I will have one session on Tuesday. But going forward in month of March, which is 2nd of March, the next Tuesday, there will be no session. Why? Because I am planning a TNW summit on 6th and 7th of March, which is Saturday and Sunday. That's the whole day event. So I would be preparing for that. So please excuse me for the 2nd March session, and I will come back post the TNW Summit. And I hope that you all join there as well. Thank you so much. And thank you, Kamal, for being here. It was a wonderful interaction. The audience has loved it. And the comments are coming in. You can see the chat box. It's good. Rajita, thank you so much. Everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone. Thank you for being here. And it's lovely connecting with all you lovely people out there. Have a great, great day and wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. All the best. Bye-bye. Take care. Yeah.